And we're
Okay,
back.
and we're back.
We're
So
back.
thank you for messaging that to me.
Hopefully you can hear us now.
Hopefully you can hear us now. If you're on, please give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on how we're sounding. I tried a different device, and I guess it's not as strong as my Surface Pro. So we're going to continue on. And we're talking about marketing strategies. So we just discussed if it's something that you can develop once and leave, or if it's ever changing. And you were saying, Michelle, that it is ever changing.
It is ever changing. There are so many new platforms that are coming out to market yourself. You know, even as simple as emailing people. Email has a higher conversion rate than social media does, by about 30%. And there's a lot of stats and studies saying that 60% of consumers will actually buy from an email message. So when you're thinking about how email integrates, email is not the email we used to use 5 years ago. There are so many great email marketing platforms that are in line with the Canadian anti-spam legislation. Right. Because that's really important. You don't want to get fined, because that's a big slap on the hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Constant Contact, MailChimp is another one that's free if you have under 2,000 users. There's a lot that are compliant that really allow you to connect with clients. Now, when you're connecting via email, it's more of a warm call versus a cold call. Right. You've met this person at a networking event, and they've given you your business
They've
card.
shown interest.
Right?
In some,
exactly. And they want to follow up. So when it comes to not only getting the message out, but following up is your key to cash. Right. And saying, hey, I'm so glad I met you. Because, networking is one of the 4 pillars of marketing. When I talk about marketing, I generally think about 4 different pillars that hold up a chair. Right. So if you're looking at advertising, both online and offline, whether it be a website, an e-newsletter, social media, all of that video, so you're advertising. Then you've got your networking, because businesses are built on relationships.
Absolutely.
Right? So you have to get out there and become the face of your business and go to networking events, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce or WOW or Leads or BNI or Achievers here in Red Deer. They're a great group too. You have to get out there and promote yourself as your business. Now, you can do that. That's offline networking. You can also go online networking. Right? And LinkedIn is one of the most amazing platforms for online networking.
Yes, I agree.
And really great for business to business promotion and connecting with your peers and putting yourself out there as an expert. All of that, people say, oh, I don't want to brag. There's a really big difference between giving a person content that they're interested in that can help their lives. That's promotion. Saying, hey, I'm the best business coach there is in the world. Right. Well, that's bragging. So don't do that. Just give them good content so they recognize your expertise. Right. It's all content. Right. And then you've got your promotions. Like if you have a retail store, you could have gift with purchase. You could have feature or deal of the day. Watch what the big guys are doing, because they're doing it because it works. Take a look at what Superstore does with the feature of the day. You'll notice it's never on sale. It's an impulse buy. Yeah. But what they're trying to do is increase their average invoice price by $2 per person. Right, of course. Right? So if you've got 100 people going through that one till per day, so 50, the stats are that 50% of them say yes to the deal of the day. 50%.
Really? 50%?
It is that high.
Wow.
50% say yes. It's mostly women that can't say no, but you know who you are, right? So
only when their shoes in. No,
right? 50% say yes. So that's 50 people going through 10 tills a day. That's 500 people paying $2 more. So it's $1,000 a day times 365 days a year.
That's a lot of money.
You tell me that doesn't work.
That's a lot of money.
Right? And the same with a promotion gift with purchase. Now, who hasn't been at the L'Oreal counter or the Clinique counter, and they've got this cute little makeup bag?
Absolutely. You could only spend $5 more, you get that.
And you could probably buy the same makeup bag at the dollar store. But why would you? right? Because it doesn't have Clinique written on it.
Right.
So, but is there anything at that counter for $5?
No.
No. So you end up paying $20, $25. It's all about increasing your average invoice price over a length of time. Remember the marathon, not a sprint?
Yeah.
So if you can just get $2 more on every invoice, what does that look like for you? If you're doing pedicures for a living at a spa and you're not selling the color you're putting on my nails for me to take home as a take-home bottle, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
And that's a marketing problem too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you care about me enough in between pedicures, right?
Right.
That I can keep this color.
Right.
So
right.
it's all about relationship. So promotions is the third rung. And then, of course, public relations is the last one. Quite often, especially in rural communities, Rocky Mountain House, shout out to Rocky if anybody's watching.
Woohoo.
Great community that supports businesses that support the community.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, just like we're supporting the Red Deer Food Bank tonight, thanks to Brenda and Success for Business, is that with public relations, once upon a time, it used to be what's called a press release, and you would send it to the newspaper, and they would print it for free, just for content.
Sure.
But those days are gone because newspapers need to make money as well. And some of them in smaller communities call them advertorials.
Right. So
And
they pay for half, and is that what you're saying?
Right, you have to pay for it to go in. It's no longer free. There's a lot of things that free is probably not a good word anyway.
Interesting.
So with that said, public relations becomes what you do in the community. Are you giving gift certificates to local charities that they can use in silent auctions so hundreds of people see that you're supporting this charity?
And that's so important too, right?
Very
because
important.
I know, a new business comes into town and they're a big box business. Well, what are they doing to the community? If they're not giving back to the community, chances are I'm not going to want to go there.
Bingo.
They have to.
So that's part of your social responsibility is also a part of your marketing strategy.
Right.
You need to budget for those and if you can't give money, then give time. Give a donation of time. If you're lucky, it's a charitable organization. They might give you a receipt that you can use on your taxes.
Okay.
But for the most part, that is definitely one of the major pillars of marketing.
Okay. That's awesome. So is there an average percentage of your revenue that should go towards marketing? Like, especially, a small business, a big business, maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, in the very first 5 years, I'd say you're looking at between 20 to 30% of your sales. Needs to be funneled into your marketing expenses.
20 to 30%.
It's like that getting a job circle and having no experience. So it goes, I have no experience, so I can't get a job. I can't get a job, and I've got no experience.
Right.
And round it goes. The same with business. I have no sales, therefore I can't market. I don't market, so I have no sales. And social media bridge that a little bit, but in order to do social media really well, again, building content, have a marketing mind, understanding how to frame out an advertisement that generates response, using the right words that will help your target customer self-identify. So there's multiple steps rather than posting a selfie on Facebook and saying, well, that was good. I just put a picture of my new shoes, and I own a shoe store. And
and if you don't know what you're going to get for a response, the big, buzzword now is split testing, right?
Yes.
So, especially, in email marketing or your Facebook ads or whatever, send out 2 or 3 ads and see what kind of response you get, right?
Absolutely.
And then the biggest response is the type of ad that is speaking to your customers.
Yes,
is that
absolutely. Yeah. And unlike traditional marketing, it's very hard to understand how many listeners will actually hear my ad at 6:25 on the radio for 30 seconds or maybe 3 times a day. It's really difficult to measure that. The same with how many people will read the newspaper or this particular magazine or attend a trade show.
Yeah.
Very hard. But digital media more and more is about analytics.
Right.
Understanding your measurements.
Hate analytics.
Right. So not only do you have to understand how to put the front end of an ad together and reach the client, but you also have to understand the analytics behind behind
Right.
the social media platform that you're using. And you could be using multiple platforms who have different analytics. So I can understand why a lot of people say, you know what, it is so worth it for me to hire somebody to look after my social media strategies.
Totally, because analytics to me is the financial statement of digital marketing.
Yes.
I hate looking at financial statements.
Most entrepreneurs do.
Right?
Yes.
So you hire an accountant and a bookkeeper, right? So to
Mhm.
do your analytics and your Google AdWords and whatnot, it's a very complicated system
Absolutely.
to get into Google and do those ads properly. Hire somebody.
Hire
by all
somebody.
means.
And if you want to do a little comparable about, how much would it cost to hire somebody, most organizations will charge anywhere between $500 to $2,000 a month to do your complete social media management, depending on how often you want to post and on what
Right.
platform. And
Yeah.
but these people have marketing minds behind their agency. So we'll understand content, we'll understand how to do response-oriented advertising. And if you think about what your cost analysis looks like, once upon a time you'd call the paper and you'd put in 1/8 of a page and it would cost you $250
Right.
for one day. So when you put that into perspective, if you're advertising on a weekly basis in a newspaper, you're probably paying $1,500 a month for advertising anyway.
Right.
So which may or may not be measurable. It may hit
Depends
your
if you
target
got a
market,
call to action, I
right?
guess.
It depends if you've got a call to action. It depends if people will walk in and say, "Oh, I saw your ad in the Western Star," or
Right.
some people will say
Right.
it. Some people won't. Some people will say, "Oh, I saw it on Facebook." People will just tell you.
So, but it's important to ask people,
It
isn't
is
it? A lot
very-
of people, and myself included,
Mm-hmm.
I get a new client or a new call. It's very seldom I think to ask them where they heard from me. And I
Right.
know that, practice what you preach, but that's really what your front end staff should be doing. It's what you should be doing when you're talking to new clients. Where did you hear about us?
And it's really important if you've got a referral in there somewhere, someone's taken the time to recommend you,
Right.
that you pick up the phone and follow up and thank them.
Yes.
I mean, not only that is just really polite to do, but it will encourage future referrals,
Yes.
right? They say,
Absolutely.
"Oh, look, Michelle appreciated me referring her to
Right.
Communications or our ABC."
And
So-
you know what? Once in a while, I'll even send like a thank you card,
Mhm.
or if they've referred quite a few clients to me, I'll do an Earl's gift card and send them out to. I mean, what's a $40 gift card compared to a couple new clients?
Exactly.
Really.
So your follow-up is mission critical to generate cash for your business,
Mhm.
and it should be a part of your marketing strategies.
Right.
You should set a time each, like maybe a half an hour or an hour of your working week to follow up with clients that you haven't seen for a little while. Maybe you're an esthetician and you're rebooking and you haven't seen somebody for a couple of months. So call them up and say, "Hey, you know what? I noticed that you're probably a little bit behind on your treatments.
Right.
Because I care about you, I'd like you to book you in next week." Now that might be a sales strategy,
Mhm.
but again, selling is
But that
helping.
works. That works.
Because I care about you. If my massage therapist called up and said, "Hey, Michelle, I haven't seen you in 30 days. You're pretty high energy, stress-free
Right.
kind of woman. So I know you need a massage at least every 30 days.
Right.
I haven't seen you in 30 days. I've got an appointment open next week because I care about you."
Right. Or
Kind
I
of
know how
thing.
stressed you are when your roots start to grow out. So can
Right.
I book you in now? Right?
Exactly.
She
So-
cares about me and how I feel.
Right, who does that? But the question is, why aren't you doing it?
Right.
Because I care about you. It's that, "Oh, I don't want to appear too salesy," but again, building relationship. I'm calling you because I care about you.
Right. That makes
Right.
total sense.
And that's a marketing strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you see as the biggest trend over the last couple of years? I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but I want to get your perspective on it.
Sure. Video.
Right.
Video.
Right.
Video is the largest marketing trend happening now, and you see it just by all the little tools that are coming out. Facebook Live, for example. Now you can video chat on Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
I've even coached clients over
Yep.
Facebook Messenger and Instagram Stories. So it is about, once again, you can tell your story in a personal, authentic way to create loyal customer relationships in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, I mean, are there stats on how many people are watching those? I mean, if you see a video pop up, right? Your friend is on live video or Facebook Live or whatever. I wonder what the stat is to how many people actually click on that to go and see it.
Well, it'll tell you how many views. On Facebook, it'll tell me how many views.
Maybe not right at that second, but...
Exactly. If you go back a couple of days after you've done a live video, you'll see how many views. And more importantly, you need to share the video.
Right.
Right? Just don't do it and leave it there. Tell people about it.
Right.
So share it into the community groups. You can boost a video on Facebook.
Yes.
Paid advertising to get even greater reach. You can email a link to the video. So the question is, why aren't you doing it?
Why aren't you doing it?
Because it really is that simple. You know, you've done it. Again, marketing is not the field of dreams. It's not if you build it, they will come. It's that you have to drag them there kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming,
through
doubt.
multiple touches. And not only that, kicking and screaming, and they're coming back because they feel special, they feel cared about, they feel like they wouldn't shop anywhere else. I mean, there's a store in Red Deer that, as a woman, just makes you feel special walking in the door. I mean, you've heard all these women saying, "Oh, I would love to put this outfit together, but I just don't know how."
Right.
So there's a few stores in Red Deer that I can walk into and say, "Dress me."
Yes, and they're happy to do that.
Right? Dress me. It's a little bit of marketing service. It's a little bit of customer service above and beyond what the average box store does.
Right.
But I will pay more.
Right.
Because I can walk in there and they care about me. They will make me feel special, and they communicate that in their marketing message.
Right.
Right. So so their marketing message looks like, how would it feel to be dressed like a celebrity by a personal stylist? You can get that right here in Red Deer.
You can. You can, absolutely.
And that's the "you had me at hello" type of advertisement.
Yeah.
Right? When you're hitting my emotional core, and I will go in and buy a ton of your product because you've hit my emotional core, you've made me feel special walking in the door. I will go back and tell my husband, "Oh yes, a little boutique. I just spent, racked up our credit cards." But I will logically say, yes, my husband's in the room. I can say that I can actually say, justify it with logic that I went there because they had the right fit and it looked good, and I can wear it for this special occasion or not. Special occasion might be Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But in their marketing messages, I self-identified a need for, "Gee, could you please help me put a outfit together because I'm really tired of dressing myself."
Yeah, I'm not into it.
Right?
Okay, so, I mean, I was going to ask this later, but since we're on the subject of, your message and getting that out there, there's two ways to approach, you're speaking to clients in the negative and in the positive. Okay,
pain and pleasure.
Pain and pleasure. So pain would be, are you exhausted and tired from dealing with your family all day? Come to our spa and whatever.
Exactly.
Whereas pleasure is, feel like Superman today when you drink my cola or whatever, right?
Weight loss commercials do this really, really well.
Yeah.
They are, again, focused on the same product, but helping their clients self-identify.
Right.
I self-identify to move away from pain. A lot of people self-identify to move towards pleasure. So when you see weight loss ads, especially around the month of January, you'll see two different types of ads, but selling the same product. And one looks like a woman standing on a scale, miserable, like head in hands, like, I don't know how I got here. And then you have this diet company as your solution.
Right.
Rising, almost like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm self-identifying, I understand the pain you're in, and I have a solution to get out of it.
Right.
Right. And then that's the move away from pain. But then you have to move towards pleasure. You have that woman who is now maybe going down the aisle in a beautiful wedding dress and it's a size 2. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Right.
So I'm going after it. Or the woman who's standing in a pair of jeans that's now she can fit all of her body into one leg. You know, and the rest of the jeans around here. That's a move towards pleasure. So people, just like different words, people will self-identify with different words. Someone, like we talked about the other day, would self-identify with crazy versus insane.
Jeez, that's a hard one, though.
Right? So you have to think about, okay, if I'm trying to help my customer self-identify a need for my widget, how many ads do I have to build in order for it to be effective and resonate with the majority of my customers? Well, I would say a lot.
Right.
You have to understand how they speak. You know, if you're trying to get millennial customers in, you got to learn how to speak millennial, right?
Yeah. True enough. True enough.
With the hashtag awesome.
Yes. Awesome.
Right.
True enough.
So you have to understand the language that they speak and I would say it's probably a 60-40 split. 60% of your customers are going to move away from pain.
Okay.
Because it's very easy for the human species to identify with whatever pain they're in.
Right.
Versus to be able to visualize pleasure. Right?
Okay.
So if you're looking at a vacation, it's very easy to visualize, you know, -20 outside and snow and I have to shovel, right?
Right.
So, you know, and here's the new trip to the Caribbean. Here's your solution.
Right.
Versus, here's a woman in the Caribbean lying on a chair with a drink in her hand. I mean, that's great to visualize, but how do I get there?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right? So when
so it's 60-40, that's interesting.
60-40. When you're structuring your advertising, you really have to think about, okay, how do I grab my customer in less than 10 seconds, because that's what people are doing.
Yes.
They're scrolling, so you need something that jumps out.
Yeah.
So you need to grab them by your headline, and you need to grab them by your graphic. Then you tell them blatantly that you are the solution to their problems, to their issues. You've got the purpose of life all figured out if you need to, but having them self-identify really quickly, make them stop.
Right.
And people will actually stop scrolling for a video. They go, oh, it's a play button. Because it's something different.
Something different.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Jackie's posted a question.
Hi, Jackie.
What are some inexpensive ways to market your business? And this is a really good question because there's a lot of out-of-the-box thinking, right? Yeah. I know back in the day it was called guerrilla marketing. Yes. And I've got books on guerrilla marketing. They're so interesting.
Yes.
So if you're a small business and you don't have a big budget, what are some things you can do that are kind of inexpensive?
Well, for the inexpensive ones, I think, for say under $100 per hit, get out there and network. Yeah. Number one is get out into your community.
Be known.
Be known. Be known in your community. Go to networking events. Join networking groups. Show up at community events. Even if it's going to see the Rebels, make sure you're known that you're at the Rebels, or volunteer for ticket sales at the Rebels and wear your logo if you can. Social media is another one. There's a few loop-de-loops you need to get around the algorithms for Facebook marketing.
Right.
But it's doable. Again, you have to become the face of your business if you want to post in community groups. Because generally speaking, if you have 2,000 people liking your Facebook page, generally speaking, only 120 people are going to see your posts organically now. Organically, which means you're not paying for them to see it.
Right.
Well,
Facebook's just redid their algorithm again, didn't they? I mean, it's crazy how many times they do that.
Every time I log on, Facebook's different. Right? So that's why you need to keep upping your marketing strategy. Another great way is email. So the people that you meet at your networking, the next day you send out an email saying, hey, it was great meeting you. Just want to share the links to my website or the links to my social media page, or would you like to get together for coffee? Because I would like to learn more about your business and I'd like to share a little bit about mine.
Right.
So email marketing, again, gets really high response for very little investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So email marketing, networking, and social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're bootstrapping, then definitely. But remember, with your social media, you don't just. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm on Facebook, but it's not really working." Well, what are you posting on Facebook?
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
are you helping your customer self-identify a need for you?
Not only that, but are you dedicated
Yes.
to your social media, right? A lot of companies get onto social media, and because they post once a week, they think that's enough, and
That's right.
it's not working for them.
Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, if you're not serving a client, you need to be marketing for the next client walking in the door.
Right.
So that means posting at least daily on social media. For Facebook, if you're on Twitter, and Twitter works really well if you're in Edmonton, Calgary, Red Deer, the more fast urban environment versus a rural environment.
Right.
So then you're on Twitter at least 4 to 6 times a day.
You have to post more because it's so fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you want to reach the kids on Instagram, it's faster still. Again, it's around 4 to 6 times a day. If you want consistency, and penetration into the brain is done through repetition.
Yeah.
You're either really funny, which a lot of us aren't, but we think we might be, but we're not really.
With a glass of wine, we're really funny.
We're really funny, right? But you penetrate through comedy, or you penetrate through repetition.
So by repetition, let's say I had an ad. Do I run the same ad 8 times on Twitter, or do I jockey it up a little bit and change it? Like, what's the best?
Sure. Jockeying it up and changing it keeps it fresh. But I would say use the same tagline on a regular basis. So I was working with a client today, not in Red Deer, and so they have a person on staff with 60 years of equine coaching experience.
Okay.
And it's a tack store. So what are they selling? Well, so much more than tack.
Yeah.
Because you walk in and you're educated, and you've got, this is the right bit because da 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 da. Or if you're new, this is what you should be looking at. Or maybe you were looking for a heating blanket, but what you really wanted was a cooling blanket. So when you think about that, their tagline is we sell so much more than tack.
Right.
We are so much more than just your average tack shop.
Right. Yeah, I could. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
so think about that. What your tagline is, and use that consistently. Just like cars cost less than with Tasquin. Who doesn't know that tagline? Right?
It's a good tagline.
Yeah.
It is a good tagline for sure.
I don't know if they do. I'm not promoting with Tasquin, but it's something that you remember forever.
Cars cost less than with Tasquin.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. A jingle, right? Yeah. So getting into more of the digital marketing space.
Yep.
So we've already commented on how many times per day that people should be posting and whatnot. There's a couple of different free tools that can be used. I use Hootsuite, for instance, and I'll not only post live when I can during the day when I have a break, but I will also schedule posts. I'll sit at night, my favorite show, and I'll have my laptop on my lap, and I will just go at her for about 2 hours and schedule the next 2 weeks in post, pepper it in with live posts, and that seems to work really well.
That's a perfect schedule, because you don't need to be on Facebook all the time.
No.
Life actually happens, believe it or not, off
That's
Facebook.
Right. That's right.
So you need to get a life. But the scheduling features of Hootsuite, TweetDeck, even the built-in scheduler for Facebook, if that's all you're using, is a great way of mapping out your strategy for a month. If you just sit down with a calendar and say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to have promotional posts, but Tuesday and Thursday, because social media is that social, I need to have a mix of fun and pleasure.
Yeah.
So maybe here's a joke about what I do, or maybe here's a picture with me with my feet on my desk. So
or a motivational saying.
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Exactly. Motivational sayings, I think, right now are really cluttering the news feed.
Yeah.
So be careful that your post is relevant.
Right.
To what you're doing. Perhaps it's a video from YouTube that you thought was really funny, and you might share a comedian, because remember, social media is electronic word of mouth. So you wouldn't go around to all your friends just promoting all the time. Make it organic, make it social, make it as if you were speaking to your friends.
Okay, so this leads to an interesting point. How do you know if you should be posting for your business or for yourself? So I have two businesses. One I post through the business. I do not get personal with it. The other one, I play a little bit more. I get a little bit more personal. I show my face and I let people in a little bit more. So how do businesses know which route to follow? Is there a certain...
Well, you really have to think about your brand.
Yeah.
You really have to think about your perception to your customer. For example, if you're a lawyer, you're probably not, making jail jokes on social media.
Right.
Right? You have that professional persona.
Yes.
But if you are selling toys for kids, then maybe you want to, here I am with my kids, I'm romping around with my kids, and it's a real representation of your brand.
Sure.
So I think you have to take that into consideration about what you're posting. It can be fun. It can, I'm sure even a lawyer can have fun on Facebook.
Even a lawyer
can have fun on Facebook. But at the same time, you have to look at, where am I positioned in the marketplace?
Mm-hmm.
What is the perception of my brand? Do I want to come across as casual? Do I want to come off as professional? Do I want to be approachable by the average Joe walking down the street? Or if it's something that you need to book an appointment because perhaps I'm a banker.
Right.
So you have to think about, okay, what kind of story do I want to tell my clients?
Right. And we spoke about that with, Dwayne Holland when we were talking about branding. Mm-hmm. It all kind of ties in. And I think in knowing that before you even have an account or before you make your first posting is so important, because you don't want to confuse your audience, right?
Exactly. Content management and your marketing strategy and your content strategy needs to be completed before you've even decided which Facebook platform or which social media platform you're going to be on. That needs to be completed before you've even opened an account.
Right.
So when you think about that, it's how am I going to tell my story? And content marketing is very much about telling stories. You look at Tim Hortons, for example. I'm originally from Australia, as you know, and I have never seen anything like a coffee and donut shop become part of a country's culture.
Absolutely.
And it's a cultural thing.
Well, they have commercials on where the next Tim Hortons location is that they're going to stop, and they base their whole vacation around that route, right?
But generally speaking, they don't ever promote the next donut that's coming up unless you're in the drive-thru. Mm-hmm. The next menu, but what do they promote? They promote the stories around the people that drink Tim Hortons. So they promote the people that go from place to place to place, and their vacation and their relationship with each other and the joy that they're having together. And by the way, you could experience this joy if only you drank Tim Hortons coffee.
Right. If you don't, well, then too bad.
Or even the most heart-wrenching one, content marketing is about telling the story of the consequences of using your product, not necessarily about the product yourself. Don't sell the bar soap. Sell the, sorry guys, you'll have to turn your ears off. Sell the cute guy that's about to touch my skin.
Right.
Right? Because that will make me go buy something.
So that is really what content marketing is. It's developing the story and laying it out for your viewer in the right way.
So it takes time to figure out what is your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we touched on that with Dwayne for sure, and that a lot of companies have a hard time with that.
Well, it's really hard to do it without the help of a coach or a marketing agency, because it's like you're in a mud pit. And you really can't see the ladder.
Right.
And you need someone to come up and say, okay, the ladder's to the left. Just swim to the left. Because, even I've spoken to people that own marketing agencies themselves, and quite often we trade services. Yeah. Because we're in the mud of our own businesses as well.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
It's much easier to say, oh, well, why don't you just do this to somebody else? Yeah. But to do that for ourselves, it's always a challenge.
Right. Right. No,
So I'd suggest hire a coach or talk to an agency.
Okay. So are there platforms that are better suited for B2C, business to consumer, versus B2B, business to business?
Yeah, there are. If you're looking for business to business, again, it's about the quality of connections that you make. So if you're a business to business and you're not out there networking, online and offline, you're doing yourself probably a 50% disservice on your bottom line. You're probably losing that much if you're not out there actually going and talking to people, having coffee with people, building relationships. That's what business to business is doing, because you're not offering anything special that another business isn't offering. So what makes you special is the quality of the relationships you've built. So you can either build those relationships online through LinkedIn, set yourself up as a blogger, or set yourself up as an industry expert by making sure you're networking. Now, again, all of this takes time.
It does take time.
Right? And LinkedIn is not something you can auto-post to.
Right.
Right? You really need to be engaged in the LinkedIn groups, and you need to be, it's about the value, for B2B, it's about the value of your connections that will really get you the greatest return on your investment. And B2C, well, there's a lot of ways to reach the ultimate consumer, and that's your social media, your traditional marketing platforms, and again, your relationships.
So is that the number one mistake you think most people make with their social media, is not developing those relationships along with their posts and their community and whatnot?
Yeah, people are selling, promoting, and they haven't yet seen the value in the networking. They haven't realized that, okay, this is about relationships. This is about people meeting people together and sharing information and buying stuff.
Right.
So, or maybe they're an introvert and they're shy and networking is just not for them.
Right.
Sometimes in order to reach that bottom line sales goal, you need to step out of your comfort zone. And sometimes that means walking into a chamber luncheon or shaking somebody's hand that you don't know. And
sitting at a table where you don't know anybody.
That's right.
Right?
Sometimes, business will force you. Well, I know a client who said to me, being an entrepreneur will force you so far out of your comfort zone, you'll forget you ever had one. Because every day, life will slap you across the face and say, do one more thing that you're not used to.
Right. That's awesome. That's so true. So true. So let's talk about email marketing.
Sure.
Okay. So one thing, with CAN-SPAM and all that, there's so many people using email marketing, and maybe it's less, maybe it's more now, but is it really being recognized when those emails come into your inbox? Are they getting annoyed, or is it still a great tool to use? And we should really be looking more at doing that.
Well, I think it's still a great tool to use as long as you use it well. You'll get deleted time and time again if the person you're emailing to doesn't think that you're giving them valuable content.
But what if they're getting 200 emails a day?
Yeah, 200.
Right?
Yeah, but again, if they know it's from Brenda. They know it's content that they can use in their business. They know it's a quick read because no one likes to read, or maybe it's a link to a video.
Right.
And it has an opening line that will a subject line that will make me want to open it.
Curious.
Right?
Yes.
And questions will be your best friend. Or bold statements. Opening this email will increase your sales by 30%. Well, you had me at hello. Click.
That's
right.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you think about that, and when you think about the reach of email versus social media, if you've got 2,000 people on your contact list, that means you've had a touch with them already. Remember that 7 to 28 touches? You've already had a touch with them. So rather than the reach or people opening, you'll reach about 435 people out of the 2,000 will open that email because they have made contact with you already. Versus social media, on Facebook, only 120 people are going to see your Facebook post, and that's worse on Twitter. The 2,000 followers that you have on Twitter, only 40 people will see your post.
Jeez.
Right? That's why you have to post on Twitter so often.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as, the average click through to a website or a download, I know the numbers are really small, but you're going to get around a 4% click through from an email versus less than 0.5% from a Facebook post.
Do you think, wow, so are those the same numbers for Google Ads as well, do you think?
It's going to be similar for Google Ads.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about, because I think that people are a little bit wary of clicking through to something on social media. There's a comfort zone there because they don't have that relationship with you.
Well, and they could get spammed, right?
Right, or a virus could drop.
Mm-hmm.
So then, but if you've got an email from a trusted source,
right,
and you're not emailing them every day, like your consistency of branding, if you're sending out an email once a month and it's 75% valuable content that's relatable directly to me, and a 25%, whether it be a coupon that's only for loyal email customers to make me feel special, or maybe it's a March Madness sale,
right,
then that's okay as long as I've got that 75% content. And that's where knowing your customer and using a platform where you can actually split your email list by interest. So for example, if you own a gym and you've got a list of names that your customer so well, everybody in January on this list is on a diet. So I need to send them content about nutrition to lose weight. These are the top 10 moves to reshape your figure. And then I have 10% that are looking to compete in a bodybuilding competition. So then I have content specifically for them. So you think about, going back to knowing your customer and building the content that they want to see.
Right.
And you have to remember, even though a lot of entrepreneurs think this, you are not your ideal customer.
Right.
It is not something to do because you like it. It is something because they like it.
Right. Oh, I've got another question here.
Oh, I love questions.
I know. I don't have a mouse for this, so I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. We're getting to CAN spam here.
Yeah. So you call it CAN spam. I call it CASO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Canadian anti-spam legislation.
Okay.
And it came out in 2015 because there were so many people email marketing and just obliterating inboxes. So the Canadian anti-spam legislation came out to try and mitigate that, in that you could only email somebody if you had their permission.
Right.
And there's two types of permission with CASL, C-A-S-L. There's implied permission, which means if they've had their email address on their website, or they've had an email address that is on public domain, you can email them.
Really?
Yep, you can.
Wow.
Or if they've given you a business card at a networking event, or if they have basically said yes somewhere, email me.
So if they give you their card, but they don't know you're going to email them, can you email them?
It is called implied consent. So that's
I have a whole stack of cards over there that I'm going to start typing in tomorrow.
Look out, people! You're getting some great content. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Implied consent. So that's the first type of consent.
Okay.
And you can actually only use that consent with somebody that you have been in contact with in the last 24 months. So if you have a business card from an event from 5 years ago, you need to throw that away, because that is no longer implied consent.
Right.
You had to have some kind of contact with them, whether they purchased your product or whether they gave you a business card, or whether they've got maybe they've got their email address listed on the Chamber of Commerce website.
Right.
Then and you have to use a medium where, and not necessarily Outlook works quite well, but Constant Contact, MailChimp work really well for this.
Get Response.
They Get Response.
I love Get Response.
Yeah.
It's a new one.
The key is that they have to be able to unsubscribe.
Right.
The power needs to be in their hands, not yours. So that's the first type of consent. Second type of consent is express consent.
Express.
Which means I've actually either verbally or in writing agreed to receive your emails.
So why would they divide the difference up? Like what does it mean then, implied versus express on the other side of it, like
Sure, on the other side of it, from the government perspective, is that they want to give businesses a chance to reach out to their customers to say, and you probably saw this around January 2015, there was a whole bunch of companies saying, we still want to communicate with you, please just hit this button, and we know that it's okay for you to receive emails from us. So that they're going from implied to express consent.
But implied is still okay, though.
Only
Isn't
if
it?
you've had contact in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So, say for example, you're a travel agent, and this person only goes on vacations every 5 years.
Right.
Well, you can't contact them after 2 years. So they may go somewhere else unless you have express consent, either in writing or.
Okay, but what if you've been emailing them your newsletter every month or whatever, they have not unsubscribed?
Yeah.
So is that considered consent?
That's considered consent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
they have not unsubscribed. Correct.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good because I know that's a really gray area. So great question.
Great question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jackie. Love having you online tonight.
Yeah. So, can spam, it all has to do with your subscriber list, right? How important is it to be collecting those email addresses? I know a lot of people,
Wow.
they're just not, they don't get it yet.
Yeah. Well,
And it's hard to wrap your head around how to get these email addresses other than business cards, but how to lead them into your site or what you've got to offer and to actually get them to say yes.
Absolutely. You know what? You can't give away garbage. No one will take it. No one is going to give you their email address if you're just offering them garbage.
Right.
So you need valuable content again. I can't say it enough. Valuable content is king. So when you are thinking about giving something away on your website, and say if I were giving 10 top marketing tips for 2017 and beyond as an ebook on my website, then that is something that they can use. Sure, it's giving away a part of my brain that other people might pay for. But at the same time, I am building a relationship with this person. This is not a one-time sale. This is a marathon.
It's a great way to build your subscriber list, right? It's by giving away something for free.
That's right. And make sure that it is valuable information.
Right.
You're not going to get anything from giving away garbage. In fact, what will happen is you'll get a bad reputation.
Right.
And people will delete everything they send.
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
that is not good. No, for sure. So, what are some other good incentives to?
She's got a great dog. Love this dog.
To attract, to attract subscribers, giving away free stuff.
Yeah, you know what? You can give away free stuff. That's not always the best key. There's always a gift with purchase option.
Right.
Yes,
in a retail environment, right? Just give me your email address and
absolutely, or you can enter to win draws.
Yes,
competitions,
contests.
Absolutely, people love those. Or you can say you have the opportunity. Look at this beautiful dog. I have to show you. Can I pick you up? Come up here. Hi. No, so I'll just pat this dog while I'm talking to you, if you don't mind. So when you think about contests and giveaways, make sure they're of value that somebody wants. If you don't want it, nobody's going to want it, right? Yeah. I would give Brenda my email so I could take this dog home for a night. Really? If you ever need dog babysitting.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so that's good. And I mean, there's been a lot of talk lately about doing funnel marketing, right? And that's a big part of it. And I'm learning it myself. And it's a bit to wrap your head around because it can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. So I'm researching different ways on how to do this and different tools that you can do it with as well. And there are some great tools out there that don't cost a lot of money.
Right. Well, funnel marketing is just like building a relationship. Say, for example, you're dating somebody. You don't drop to one knee on the first date and offer the rest of your life. Right. Just like you probably are not going to expect someone to buy from you the first time you meet them.
Right.
So you have to court them. So marketing is a form of courting for your business. So if you're meeting somebody, hey, let's have coffee, or here's a free ebook.
Right.
And so you're courting them for a long-term relationship. It's not a one-night stand.
Right.
Yeah. So
sometimes we really like one night stands.
Right,
though,
and
okay?
sometimes it's quick and easy, and if I can get you to buy from me without having a relationship, but how am I going to get you to come back?
Yeah.
Right? So you'll never, you might get the quick sale right off the bat, but if you don't have that relationship built, there's no lifetime value of your client. Within 5 years, you'll be like 80% of businesses
Right.
closed.
Yeah, exactly. So how often do you think people should be sending out email newsletters or emails to their subscribers? Like,
Sure.
is there a magic number?
You know what? I think the magic number is once a month.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think the magic, if the magic number, unless of course you have this burning sale that is coming,
Mm-hmm.
and remember that's 7 to 28 touches, but no more than twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's the first of the month or the middle of the month, and then you have different content for each.
Right.
Make sure that.
Because I have to tell you, sometimes I'm getting these emails, and they're not in the form of a newsletter. They're in the form of an email.
Yes.
And I get them every couple of days.
Yes. And what do you do with them?
Well, luckily she has some really interesting emails.
See? If she didn't have an interesting email, you would delete.
Well, the ones that are repetitive, I do. I
Yeah.
delete them.
Yeah. But you only open the
Yeah.
stuff that are really interesting.
Right.
So make sure your email marketing is really interesting.
Right.
Mhm.
And that headline is
Oh, it has
the
to
number
be a
one
grab.
thing, hey?
Yeah. It has to be a grab. I would suggest that it's less than 7 words. And generally a
less than 7 words.
Less
Oh,
than
I
7
failed
words.
miserably in that.
because no one wants to read anymore. So 7 seems to be that magic number.
Okay.
5 is not enough to get your message across. 10, you're going to glance across that subject line and go, oh, that's too much for me. Moving on.
Really?
Right? So, and try
Oh.
and either do a bold statement or a question.
Mhm.
Because the way our brain works, when our brain sees a question mark, and you can do this in your regular advertising as well,
Mhm.
when your brain sees a question mark, it gives the person asking a question a couple of milliseconds more because the brain stops and goes, oh, do I need to answer this?
Right.
So you've got them for 12 seconds versus 10.
Right.
And that 2 seconds might be the difference between a sale or not.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, well that's interesting. So another thing that I keep hearing about is that it's how important it is to have a blog. Now, I'm not a writer.
blogging.
I can't even think about having yet something else to pay attention to.
Right.
But I keep hearing how important it is. What's your thought on that?
Well, you know what? In this age of ongoing video, I think if you're going to have a blog, you do it on video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you share it with your social media groups, you have it connected to your website. You can communicate in a fast, easy way. Blogs are important in the fact that they become the foundation upon which all social media posts can be built. You can
Mhm.
dissect a blog paragraph by paragraph and
Or ebooks,
yes,
right?
or write an ebook. But for the most part, I would say personally, I lean towards video blogs
Mhm.
because you can get the message across. It is stored somewhere that people could go back and reference, and people can get a feel of your personality and how passionate you are about what you do.
Right. Interesting.
Right there, unless you're a really, really good writer, the next Nora Roberts, for example, or Danielle Steele, it's pretty hard to write a passionate blog.
Right. So, okay, so if you're looking at, say, an ad or some content on your website and whatnot, what's the percentage of content versus design?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well,
like, what's more important? Is one more important than the other? Because you got to grab them, but what's more important?
What's more important is if you're looking for design, it's the design that communicates and helps self-identify.
Mm-hmm.
So advertising is not artwork. It's not something that people will look at and ponder and go, I see the white dot. This means something to me. They're not going to ponder it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to communicate, and your design and your graphics need to represent your target customer.
And your content, right?
And your content. So moving away from pain, again, that woman, feeling down on herself, to the woman experiencing emotional freedom.
So yeah, what I'm hearing you saying is that having one without the other won't work. They have to work together.
They have to work together. Otherwise, someone is looking at a beautiful picture of a lovely woman standing in a field, but she doesn't know why she's looking at that picture.
I mean, all you have to do is go through a Yellow Page book, if anybody's got them anymore, but go through the Yellow Pages and compare ads.
Absolutely.
Really, that's all you have to do.
And what grabs your attention is going to grab somebody else's attention.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't look at puppies and babies on Facebook? You know, for the most part. So, not just saying if you're not selling puppies or selling babies, that would be a bad thing, but baby shoes, then perhaps, you know, you could use that in the comedy section of your mission to really just build that relationship that you're not all sales.
Okay.
You can be fun too.
Okay, cool. So getting kind of, well, actually, it's hard to quantify your marketing results, right? A lot of people want those results. They want that ROI, or they just, it didn't work.
Yeah.
How do you quantify a successful marketing campaign? How do you know?
You quantify the successful marketing campaign again by the long-term relationships that you've built. And that just takes time.
Yeah.
That's all it takes time. People quite often will say, oh, you know what, I did a marketing campaign on social media and I did it for 30 days and I paid $200 and I only got one phone call. It didn't work.
Right.
Well, how'd you build relationship doing that?
Right.
Right. So it's all analytics are great for measurement, but did you have one or two customers walk in the door that have now decided that they cannot go anywhere else but you? Right?
Right.
That's success. Even if it's two, even if it's one who spends a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, but and they tell somebody else, they become what's called a raving fan.
Right. Referrals, right?
Right. Or an ambassador. I mean, if you can get them to give a testimonial to all of their friends on social media, that is worth its weight in gold. In fact, even if you use their testimonials, whether it's written or verbal, it will actually increase the response to your advertising on social media and print by 8 times. Wow. If you weren't using a testimonial. So ask those, you know, people say, how do I get a testimonial? Ask for them.
Absolutely.
You say, how did you like my presentation tonight? Or how did you like spending a day coaching with me? All of that, and then they will generate more business than you can ever imagine.
That's the one thing that I hounded on. I did a LinkedIn panel last week, and that's the one point I made, was that how important testimonials were on LinkedIn.
Yes. Absolutely. Recommendations, testimonials, because if you're selling or marketing, you're basically saying, my product is good because I say so.
Right.
Which has no credibility whatsoever.
Right, true enough.
But if I sit here and go, you know what, I had a website done by Visual Design, my friend Brenda did a great job, and now I'm getting traffic to it, and it's e-commerce, then all of a sudden people start listening and going, well, she's a credible reference. I might contact her from my website.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's right. That's good. So in all of the scheme of things, how important do you think it is to be watching what your competition's doing in their marketing strategies and what they're doing online? Or should you just be head down, do your own thing, and don't worry about what other people are doing?
You know what? If they're your direct competition in your trading area, you know, everyone makes mistakes and they're bound to make mistakes too. So I think that you really need to focus on what you do well and do it well. You know, not everybody can do bookkeeping as well as somebody else. Not everybody can do social media marketing as somebody else. So just really be self-aware and put the blinders on in your local market, for example, but don't forget to do your research for like-minded people in your industry that are that much higher than you, that have made it to where you want to make it. So if you want to be an inspirational speaker, go see what Tony Robbins does for his marketing. If you want to be the best of aesthetics, then find the best aesthetics company in the world and see what they do.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Rather than just looking next door and seeing what Joe Schmo's doing.
Right.
Right?
You know, that's just gossip.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense for sure. So, marketing plan.
Marketing plan.
Yeah, I don't know.
A marketing plan is Rome was not built in a day, my friend.
How important is it, and does every business need it?
You know what? I really believe that if you don't plan, flying by the seat of your pants on a regular basis won't bring any fruition. Like if there's no strategy behind it, if there's no tactics behind it, you know, it's like the goals, the strategy, the actions, and then measuring the actions to see if they worked or not.
Right.
If you don't have that in place as a constant evolving document, whether it be I'm going to sit down and do a strategy day, or I'm going to sit down and do my monthly social media plan and figure out what posts I want to do so I can get my systems in place. Because if you don't get your systems in place and your plan in place, first of all, you can never train anybody else to do it because you're flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
So how can you go on vacation and you forget that your mission to get into business was to become CEO? So without systems in place, you're chief of everything because you're the only one who knows how to do it.
Right. And that all goes into your marketing plan.
Yeah, that all goes into your marketing plan. What systems, what platforms, when, what strategies, how are you going to measure it? Even right down to the words you're going to use to help your customer self-identify that they need you.
Wow.
So, you know, you could do a one-pager once a month and figure out, okay, what's working, what's not working, but at least you're not flying by the seat of your pants, sitting down at your computer on a daily basis going, what's catchy to post on Facebook today?
Yeah, right.
Right, so, and taking that time to understand your target market's pleasures and pains.
Right.
And how that they identify. If you do that once a year, because your target market might shift depend on what your product is. If you're bringing in a new product line into your store, then all of a sudden you're selling shoes as well as dresses.
Right.
So that might be a different audience.
So do you help people with their marketing plan?
I sure do. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Really?
Favorite things to do.
It's so not mine.
No. It's one of my favorite things to do. You know, I would eat, breathe, and sleep that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to do your marketing plan with me, Brenda has my contact information, or you can find me at the Rural Alberta Business Center, and that's my shameless plug of the night.
That's awesome. So, final tips. Do you have any final tips for us? Final marketing tips.
Oh, the biggest one. Know thy client.
Know thy client.
Know thy client. Know them so well that when they say you don't know someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes, walk a mile in their shoes. Make sure you know them well. Because if you don't know them well, you'll never communicate with them well. They'll never build a relationship with you. They'll never buy from you. So
that means asking lots of questions.
Taking
lots of notes.
Exactly.
Right? And learning.
Know thy client. And know that this is not a sprint. Marketing is a marathon to build relationships. So you're not going to meet somebody at a networking event and kiss them on the mouth. That would be a bad thing. Right? Just don't do that.
Yeah, it would be a bad thing.
Right, that would be a bad thing. But don't expect your marketing efforts at the same time to have that kind of passionate response overnight. Right. Build that relationship with your customers so they become so loyal that they cannot think about going anywhere else but into your business.
Right on. So I am a big believer in podcasts.
Oh, love podcasts.
Right?
Yes.
So when I'm working out in the morning on my elliptical, I'll put my phone on and I'll listen to one of my many podcasts that I have as my favorites. And there's a few marketing ones that you may want to take advantage of if you haven't already. And one of them is called No Bullshit Marketing. That's a really good one. Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. He is unbelievable. He's so knowledgeable. I love listening, and they're done very well and very professionally. 5-minute marketing. They're usually quick quick little tips and tricks.
Right. So when you're driving,
Yes.
from coffee shop to coffee shop, networking and meeting all these great people, you can listen to that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And duct tape marketing,
Yes.
right? That's a really good
Mhm.
one.
Another podcast I really like is Amy Porterfield.
Oh, she's so good.
She's great.
She does the online content marketing,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
she is excellent.
So even if you're planning on hiring somebody, you, as the CEO of your business, you need to have an understanding of strategies. And if you can't make an appointment with me, just download the Amy Porterfield digital content. It's great.
Yeah, she's really good. Well, that wraps it up
Great.
for tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I'm going to put a plug in, though, for a couple things we're doing. So April 12th, we are bringing back the roundtables.
So excited.
So we're not doing a luncheon this time. We're doing an evening. So if you can make it out the evening of April 12th, Michelle is going to be one of our mentors. We have 6 mentors in everything. I'm going to forget, but everything from social media to conflict management, to startups, to marketing, to sales, to I said startups.
Yeah, if you're in business, you just need to be here.
You
That's
really
all
need to be there.
All there is to it. I actually went to, here's a testimonial for you. I went to one of Brenda's roundtables as an attendee just to network with fellow business and marketing professionals. And the information that I took away, again, because you're in the mud, you can't see the forest for the trees. And sometimes you just need that 10-minute conversation for someone just to steer you in the right direction of, how to get out of the forest and reach your customers. So, it is so worthwhile going to these mentoring sessions. It is something in central Alberta that you will not find in Edmonton or Calgary. You might have to go to Vancouver or Toronto to get the kind of quality you're getting. And yeah, I'd say if you're in business, you just have to be there.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to do. And then after we do our roundtables, we're going to have Meet the Mentors. It's going to be a social because, like I said, we've got 6 mentors there, and they all sit on our brand new platform, our mentoring platform.
Yes.
So if you like what Michelle's had to say tonight, talk to me, because she is available for any of the packages that we offer. So if you're into maybe learning a bit more, doing a little bit of mentoring, some coaching, Successor Business has it now. And I'm really excited that you're part of it.
I'm excited to be a part of it. And the lineup that you have of mentors, I mean, we could mentor each other. They're so good.
Absolutely.
So,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
definitely take advantage of that. Because every once in a while, you have to remember as an entrepreneur that you don't have to walk alone. There are other people that have walked this trail before you and can help you along the way. So sometimes you might need to vent. Sometimes you might need a new strategy. Sometimes you might need, a good kick in the pants.
Yes.
Right? So sometimes that's the way a mentor works. And to have someone walking alongside you in that kind of capacity, guaranteed success.
Awesome. Well, thanks for making it out tonight,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
And this wraps up our Love Your Business month. So, ciao, and go and relax for the rest of the evening.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.